Have you ever wondered why, despite wanting love and connection, you keep pushing people away? It's something many of us do, but few of us understand why. The truth is, we all have hidden barriers that prevent us from getting close to others, even when we crave connection the most. And these barriers are often the very thing that sabotages our happiness and relationships. Here's a surprising fact. Did you know that 40% of people in relationships report feeling emotionally distant from their partner? That's a huge number. Even though they're physically together, they're not truly connected. And here's the kicker: according to a study by the University of Chicago, loneliness can actually increase your chances of early death by 26%. The emotional walls we build can harm us in ways we don't even realize. In this video, we'll explore the real reasons behind why we push others away and how these actions can hold us back from the happiness we deserve. From hidden fears and past hurts to perfectionism and emotional burnout, we'll dive into the surprising psychological patterns that affect your love life. Plus, we'll give you actionable strategies to break these patterns and build deeper, more meaningful connections. Ready to uncover the truth? Let's get started and finally break free from the walls that keep us from love and happiness. Chapter 1: The Fear Behind the Walls. Why love feels like a threat. Have you ever felt that nagging fear when someone gets too close emotionally? It's like your heart wants to connect, but your mind keeps shouting, "Run." This fear is real, and it often leads us to put up emotional walls. The walls are designed to protect us, but they also keep us from forming deep connections. Why do we do this? Research shows that our brains are wired to protect us from emotional pain, just like physical pain. When we experience hurt or betrayal, our bodies remember it, and that memory shapes how we interact with others. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, emotional pain and physical pain activate the same areas of the brain. So, we might avoid relationships because we're subconsciously trying to avoid the risk of being hurt. But here's the kicker: isolation can be just as harmful. A study by Brigham Young University found that loneliness can be just as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's how serious it is when we push people away to protect ourselves. It's a double-edged sword. You might feel safe, but your heart is starving for connection. So, what can you do? The first step is awareness. Recognize that your walls are not a solution, they're a barrier to the happiness and love you crave. Try this strategy. Next time you feel the instinct to withdraw, ask yourself, is this fear real or just a reaction to past pain? Reframe that fear as an opportunity to grow, not a reason to retreat. Start small. Practice letting people in little by little. Over time, you'll build trust and find that love doesn't feel as threatening anymore. Chapter 2: The Mask We Wear. Are you hiding who you really are? We all wear masks in relationships, and sometimes, we wear them so well we forget they're there. The idea is simple: we want to be liked and accepted. So, we show the world a version of ourselves we think others will appreciate. But here's the problem: when we hide who we truly are, we create distance between ourselves and others. Did you know? According to psychologist Dr. Sherry Turkle, in her book Reclaiming Conversation, the rise of social media has only made this worse. People are hiding behind filters and edited versions of themselves, afraid that the real version will be too much or not enough. As a result, we don't form authentic connections, and that leads to feelings of loneliness and isolation. The truth is, vulnerability is the key to deep, meaningful relationships. Studies have shown that people who are able to be vulnerable with others experience stronger emotional bonds. Brené Brown, a renowned researcher, emphasizes in her book Daring Greatly that vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. So, how can you drop the mask? Start by practicing self-compassion. Recognize that it's okay to be imperfect. Here's a strategy: the next time you feel the urge to present a curated version of yourself, pause and ask, what's one thing I could share that would make me feel more real? This might be as simple as sharing a small fear or a personal story that helps you feel more connected to the other person. Remember, the more you let your true self shine, the more likely you are to attract people who love you for who you are. Chapter 3: Emotional Burnout. When loving feels exhausting. Have you ever been in a relationship where you give, and eventually feel drained? Emotional burnout is a real thing. In relationships, it happens when you're constantly pouring your energy into someone else, without taking time for yourself. Over time, this can lead to frustration, resentment, and, yes, pushing people away. Here's the science behind it. According to a study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, emotional burnout in relationships often stems from one partner feeling emotionally overextended, while the other is unaware of their partner's needs for self-care. This imbalance leads to emotional exhaustion, which makes you less likely to want to invest in the relationship. The good news? You can prevent burnout with the right strategies. First step: establish boundaries. It's okay to say no. In fact, it's necessary for maintaining healthy relationships. Boundaries allow you to recharge and keep your emotional tank full. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Another helpful strategy is to practice self-care intentionally. Studies show that regular self-care routines, whether it's journaling, meditation, or exercise, help you stay grounded and emotionally available for your relationships. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. In fact, it's the best way to give your best to others. Practical tip: next time you feel emotionally drained, ask yourself, what am I doing for me today? Whether it's a hobby you love, a walk in nature, or simply some quiet time alone, make self-care a priority. This will help you stay connected and emotionally available without feeling exhausted. Your relationships will thank you for it. If you're finding this helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe. We've got more strategies coming your way that will help you build stronger, healthier relationships. Chapter 4: The Ghost of Past Relationships. Are you still carrying the baggage? We've all been there. Our past relationships leave behind emotional scars that can shape how we view future connections. Whether it's a past betrayal, hurtful words, or just a bad experience, the ghosts of these past relationships can have a big impact. The baggage we carry from these experiences often makes us wary of opening up to new people. But how much does our past influence us? According to a study published in Psychological Science, individuals who experienced past emotional trauma tend to show heightened fear responses in future relationships. It's like our brains are wired to protect us from similar pain, even if the current situation doesn't pose a real threat. Here's the thing: your past is just that, the past. And it doesn't have to dictate your future relationships. The first step to overcoming past baggage is awareness. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to from your previous relationships? Are there old hurts or memories that are preventing you from being fully present in the current moment? Strategy for moving forward: consider journaling about your past experiences. Write down the feelings you associate with these past events and reflect on how they're influencing your current behaviors. Once you understand how the past is impacting you, it becomes easier to let go and move on. Another powerful tool is forgiveness. Dr. Fred Luskin, in his book Forgive for Good, explains that forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook, it's about freeing yourself from the emotional burden. Letting go of resentment will lighten your heart and help you engage more fully with new relationships. By recognizing how past relationships affect you, you can stop the cycle of self-sabotage and make space for healthier connections. Chapter 5: Perfectionism in Love. The unrealistic expectations holding you back. Do you ever catch yourself thinking that a relationship should always be flawless? Or maybe you expect yourself or your partner to be perfect? Perfectionism can be a major roadblock in love. It's easy to think that everything needs to be just right for love to work. But perfectionism isn't just unrealistic, it's also damaging. Research shows that perfectionism is linked to dissatisfaction in relationships. According to a study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, people with perfectionist tendencies are often disappointed in their partners because they set standards that no one can meet. This creates frustration, distance, and, ultimately, a pattern of pushing people away. Here's a key insight: no one is perfect, and that's okay. In fact, embracing imperfections can actually strengthen relationships. Dr. Brené Brown, in her book The Gifts of Imperfection, argues that embracing vulnerability and imperfection is what leads to true connection. She explains that when we allow ourselves to be imperfect, we open the door for others to do the same, creating deeper, more meaningful relationships. Strategy to break free from perfectionism: start by adjusting your expectations. Instead of focusing on flawlessness, focus on growth. For example, when you feel upset about something minor, ask yourself, is this really a deal breaker, or can we work through it together? Shifting your mindset from perfection to progress can reduce disappointment and build trust. Another tip is practicing gratitude. Focusing on what you appreciate in a partner rather than what they lack will create a more positive atmosphere in the relationship. Research by the Greater Good Science Center shows that couples who practice gratitude regularly report higher levels of relationship satisfaction. If you let go of the need for perfection, you'll allow space for real, lasting love. Chapter 6: The Fear of Intimacy. Are you scared of getting too close? Intimacy isn't just about physical closeness, it's about emotional connection too. But for many, intimacy can feel terrifying. Whether it's a fear of being judged, getting hurt, or losing one's independence, the fear of intimacy can cause people to push others away at the moment they start to get close. Did you know? According to the American Psychological Association, about 20% of people experience a fear of intimacy. This fear can stem from childhood experiences, past betrayals, or even societal pressures that make it seem like emotional vulnerability is dangerous. So, how do you confront this fear? First, it's important to acknowledge the fear. Denying it won't make it go away. Acknowledge that intimacy might feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, it's often a sign of growth. Strategy: one effective way to work through the fear of intimacy is to take small steps. You don't have to dive into the deep end right away. Start by sharing something personal, something you've been afraid to share. According to Dr. Alexandra Solomon, author of Loving Bravely, the key is starting with emotional baby steps and gradually building trust. Another approach is practicing self-love. The more you love and accept yourself, the less fear you'll feel about letting others see you for who you really are. Studies show that self-compassion helps reduce the fear of rejection and promotes emotional openness. A powerful exercise is to look at yourself in the mirror and repeat affirmations like, I am worthy of love and connection. Tip: try to reframe your thinking about intimacy. Instead of viewing it as a threat, start seeing it as an opportunity for growth and connection. Think about how much more fulfilling your life could be with deeper, more intimate connections. The fear of intimacy can be overcome, but it requires courage and a willingness to be vulnerable. By taking small steps, practicing self-love, and building trust, you can create the deep emotional connections you've been longing for. If you've enjoyed these insights, make sure to subscribe. We've got even more content to help you break through the barriers keeping you from the love and happiness you deserve.